Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Gene Curl, and this is the series that I'm doing where I'm reading my mission journal that I kept when I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And this is the 28th episode, and I'm just going to start off reading where I had left off in the last episode. Thursday, January 1st, 2004. Happy New Year. Cloudy, it rained all day long, and the wind blew cool. Today was pretty less effective. We pretty much rode around in the wind and driven rain all day. When we got home, we showered and stuff. Elder G had to go see President this morning. I don't know why, and I ain't going to ask. Elder L and I went to follow up on some people, and then we rode out to Barber's Point to check a few inactive members and got very wet in the process. The members that we looked for had moved, and we had lunch at the pad. Pretty much until 1500, we just rode around in the rain trying to stay busy. We dropped by Brother S and then the T family, and Brother T tried to tell us what the ward should be doing, yet he does not do any of it. We stopped to see the H family for a few, and then we went to dinner at the W family. They had some people over from Idaho that are attending Idaho State University and knows a few people that I know, including the B family. We spent the rest of the night walking around trying to stay busy. I found a huge snail and decided to take it home to get its shell. On our way home, some non-member people picked us up and gave us a ride home. When we got home, our upstairs neighbors came by and gave us some dinner. He said he and his wife felt sorry for us for being so far away from home on the holidays and thought we might like a home-cooked meal. Friday, January 2nd, 2004. Cloudy, it rained all day, hard a lot of the time, warm. Brother P picked Elder L and I up around 8, and we went to help the A family move back to their apartment. The bishop and his son and Brother R was there as well. At 10, Brother P took us to our pad to change, and then Brother T's house. We correlated with him until 11:30. It all went well, and the only crazy thing that Brother T said is that the missionary meal program should be stopped. When we told him why it is good, he agreed that it is good to feed the missionaries. He gave us a ride to the pad, and we rode our bikes to Kmart to pick up some Pepto-Bismol and a few other things. On the way back, we got splashed and got very wet. During service this morning, I felt like I would puke. That's why we wanted the Pepto-Bismol. When we went back to the pad, we changed and then had lunch and personal study. We decided that it was less effective to get wet again, so we called people until dinner. Brother B picked us up for dinner, and there was a pretty good and quite interesting conversation at dinner. The B's inactive daughter, single ward son, was there, and we talked about the church, how the church wants everyone to be married, work, etc., etc. After dinner, Brother B gave us a ride home. When we got home at 2000, there was a message from Elder M telling us that the president wanted us to stay in the rest of the night because of the flash flood warning. At dinner, Elder L said that he was allergic to bananas, so we all gave him a hard time. We told him to try to chew them, peel them, and then swallow the banana because he said that he can't breathe when he eats them. He assured us that he would try it. When he mentioned that he can eat them when they're dry, Brother B told him that is not allergy, just purely psychological, and that's what I tried to tell him a long time ago. Saturday, January 3rd, 2004. Partly cloudy, warm, light wind. Elder L did not get up for devotional because he was sick, and we did not leave the pad till 11:30. This morning I was reading Elder G's book, The Missionary's Little Book of Quotes, and it kicked my butt because the first chapter talks about procrastination, and I have procrastinated a lot. Also, it talked about being indecisive, and I have always been very indecisive about most things. That's okay. It is not too late to do what I already could have done. We visited the H family to make sure that they are coming to church, and then we went to see Brother L to try to set up an appointment to watch a video with his family. Brother L is a great guy, but he is most definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed. We had lunch at the pad, and then we went to the park to plan where we wanted to tract, but we decided to do something else instead. We followed up on a few people. When we followed up with Laura and Ernie, they invited us in and we taught them the first discussion. They almost seemed golden. We met Laura while tracting before Christmas and she told us to come back later. Today was a good day to catch them. We set up an appointment for next week. We stopped by the S family to borrow a few tools from Brother S so I could fix Sister P's screen door on Monday. We rode our bikes to Kmart to pick up some screws and then we ate dinner at Wendy's. A lady that lives in Barbers Point called to find out about church, so we asked if we could come visit, and she said yes. Brother P picked us up at our pad, and we went to see them. She is a member, but has not been since she was a child, and her husband is not a member. She is in the Navy, and he just got out. They are really cool. Perhaps I will be able to teach them. Their names are Eddie and Lauren. Sunday, January 4th, 2004. Mostly clear, light wind, hot. This was the first Sunday in this area that I have been able to have morning devotional before church. Brother T picked us up for PEC which was held at 9. After PEC, Brother S gave us a ride home. We had personal study. My personal study was pretty less effective because I fell asleep half the way through it. Brother T picked us up for church at a little after 1400. The F family came to church, as did Steve, and some of the H family. I think that this is the fullest that I've seen the ward. Elder L and I blessed the sacrament, and the elders squirmed past it. The elders were very organized at passing, and were not very organized at passing. We were almost tripping over each other. During testimony meeting, I was scared that someone would say something crazy, and a few people did, but they were, I think, outweighed by the good testimonies. Elder L and I bore our testimony. Elder L taught gospel principles, and we had a full class. The F family came, but had to leave before the last meeting, but said they would be here next week. After church, Brother T gave us a ride home. Before passing the sacrament, Elder L and I were roped into helping with the baby blessing. In priesthood, all the brethren were assigned by the ward days to team up with us. We visited Brother F and then had dinner with the J family. I shared a dinner message on the preacher on the bridge. We taught Steve a second discussion and committed him for baptism on the 13th of January, and then came home for our week plan and companionship inventory. After we finished, Elder L. Goodman and I played Monopoly. Monday, January 5th, 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. We had district meeting. After district meeting, Elder L and I had taught Debbie a media referral, or rather tried to teach her. She goes to the Word of Life, or was it New Hope, and thinks that she is a prophet and is going to start an abuse ministry. Our church also has a lot of crazy things like surfing ministry. We did not stay long to avoid contention. We went down to Kapolei so Elder L could see the doctor about his ear infection. After the doctor, we had lunch at the pad. Then we went to see Brother P and Brother S. We had dinner with the S family. We did a 6-step revelation with the V family, and he has a friend from Nanakuli elders to teach, for the Nanakuli elders to teach. We followed up on a few more people and went home to plan our baptismal goal and await transfer calls. Elder G and I are both leaving. One companion in every companionship in this zone is leaving. We all decided to play Monopoly after closing. One of the rules in the game, Elder P was not following, and when I showed them the rules in the rule book, they decided to go ahead and not follow it. I had been having a hard day, so when no one would listen to me, I blew up, pounded the table, and I said a few choice words. I talked about how almost my whole life no one ever cared about what I had to say and would tell me to shut up. What do you know, you little bee? A year or more, and a lifetime of this stress finally came out, and when it did, I looked like a jerk, probably because I was. Everyone was mad at me, and Elder P and Elder L were yelling at me. When we all came to our senses, I apologized and called President to set up a time to talk on Wednesday. Everyone apologized to me as well. We said a prayer to bring back the spirit, and all hugged each other. We stayed up and talked until 22:30. Tuesday, January 6, 2004. Mostly clear, hot, light wind. I got up at 6 and started my laundry and did not write letters until later. After devotional, we all went to Kmart. I picked up my pictures. I spent most of the day packing. At 17:30, we went to say goodbye to the W family. Then we went to see Sister P, and I fixed her screen door while she fixed dinner. Next, we stopped by the H family so I could tell them goodbye and take pictures with them. It was hard to say goodbye to the H family. I really missed that family, and I almost cried as I rode away from their house. We stopped at the S family so that we could give Brother S back his tools, and I could tell them goodbye. We went home about 15 minutes early so Elder L could finish his laundry. Wednesday, January 7, 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. This has been kind of a long, hard day. We left the pad at 6:45 to get to Tabernacle in Hawaii. I got my transfer papers on the way into the office to see President Willis. I will be serving in the Kailua 2nd Ward on the Kaneohe 5th Branch, which is Tongan. It will be a challenge for me to learn Tongan. Elder S will be my companion, and we will be co-seniors. When I went to talk to President, I told him a lot about how I never felt loved as a child and how my mother tries to control my life. I told President that in all my years I had never admitted until today that the way I grew up bothers me. All my life I was in denial and always told everyone that it does not bother me, but in reality it bothers me a lot. I also told him after all the stress that I blew up and yelled at everyone a few nights ago. President told me that there is no one on this mission who could understand my past, and also that he thinks that I am handling it exceptionally well, even better than most people twice my age. He told me that I need counseling and he would like me to talk to Juan if I stay depressed even after he gives me a blessing. President Willis gave me a blessing which he said that if I am obedient to the Spirit, it will help me get over my problems and a lot of other things that I can't remember because my mind has gone fuzzy. President hugged me and then told me if I am depressed, etc. in a week, to call him and he will try to get me with a counselor at LDS Family Services. I forgot to say this while I was reading my journal here, but I didn't write this in my journal, but when I talked to my mission president about everything about being depressed, he told me that if I needed to talk to a therapist, that I would wind up getting sent home from my mission because I couldn't be on my mission if I was too depressed. And so I was still depressed, but I didn't tell him I was depressed because I felt like I was in a position where I either had to lie about being depressed or I had to go home. And I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to end my mission early because I knew that there's a big stigma about ending your mission early, and also I would feel like a failure if I ended my mission early. So I didn't want to go home early. I wanted to finish my mission. So I never said anything else about my depression to my mission president because I wanted to stay and serve the rest of my mission. And he was nice about it, but he basically told me that if I was depressed, that it was the church rules, that if I needed to talk to a therapist, that I'd have to wind up going home. And I didn't want that, so I did not talk to a therapist on my mission. Anyhow, back to the regularly scheduled program. I met Elder S, and we waited for an investigator that was supposed to come and meet President Wells for a long time. Finally, we left, and Elder S showed up around our area, and then we showed them around K1. Because we were both whitewashed into each other's areas. Our white ward is almost all Marines and Navy. We had lunch at the pad and went over our area book. Elder S. did not update the area book, and there were no current investigator records. I received the backpack that I ordered. After lunch, Elder S. and I went out meeting as many members and the investigators as we could. We were able to get to 5 or 6 member families, but only one investigator, Sonny, a colored lady who is a Southern Baptist. We visited with her a while and set up a teaching appointment for Saturday. Brother O, a colored man, went with us to visit Sonny. When we went to the Tongan family, signed up to feed us. They gave us $40 to split, and we went to Subway. We ate our food at the church. While we watched how we were positioned, we then went back to the pad to study Tongan until closing time. I feel very overwhelmed because I am covering 2 new areas, one of which neither Elder S. nor I know, and have to learn a new language. And I have to recertify for the last time. I have faith that if I do my best, the Lord will make up for the rest. Thursday, January 8th, 2003. Clear, hot, light wind. Elder S. and I went on team up this morning in my area so he could show me where everyone lived. He complained the whole time about having to show me where they live. At the first counselor's house, only the daughter was home, so Elder S. said, "Good, well, come in then." So I slapped his shoulder and told him that he knows better. One member's house we stopped at when we got ready to go to the car would not start. The battery connections were all corroded, so I bummed baking soda and a toothbrush from the neighbors to clean it, and then members gave us a jump. After we got the car started, we went home for lunch. I called Elder B to find out what he wants me to do. After lunch, Elder S. and I went to visit people. We went to see Brother N, the ward clerk, to get information on all the people on the ward list. He was a huge help. Again, when I tried to start the car, it was a no-go. While I talked to the auto store and Elder B on the phone to check the price, and Elder B to get authorization. Elder S. and Brother N got the car started, and we went to our Tongan dinner, and then they gave us money instead of food. Then we went to the H family dinner on base. I shared the dinner message. I drove all day except for the last hour. I let Elder S. drive because we want to go teach Danielle a third discussion after baptism in the K1 area because Elder S. did not want to do it, and Elder S. knew where she lives. She is kind of funny and way flirty. She is on the high school wrestling team and is 17 years old. After Danielle, we went home to study Tongan. The language is not coming to me as fast as I would like. Friday, January 9th, 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. Around 9:15, Elder B came by and picked up Elder S. and I along with a battery to our car, and we went to the Checkers here in Balu, but they did not have the battery, so we went to the Checkers in another area. When we got back and replaced the battery, and then we went to Zone Plan. I did not think that I would see him for a long time, but Elder G is Elder T, the other district leader's companion, and I went on team up with him from 10 to 12. First thing, I replaced the battery cable, and then I went out, but I don't know this area very well, so we got lost for a few minutes. We did not get much done. We ran back to the pad to get some tape to tape up the connectors. Elder S. and I had lunch at the pad and then went to the chapel for a Tongan study. We followed up on an old investigator and part member family. The oldest daughter is a member, but not active, and the only member in her family. Her name's Chastity, and she is having an out-of-wedlock baby. It's kind of interesting that every girl that I have ever known named Chastity has not lived the law of chastity. It's like they hear the word so much that they don't want to live it. We tracked it for an hour, but only met old rich people who did not want to talk to us. We had dinner from Arby's at the pad. Later we visited Brother C, the word mission leader. He is a pretty good guy, even though he likes to talk a lot and does not seem to be at all like Elder S made him out to be. He told us about a few other elders but did not mention names, and told us how they destroyed member trust and asked us not to do those things. We visited the Relief Society president, Sister R. We ended the night when a man drove by her house with a splash guard dragging. I borrowed a coat hanger from Sister R and winded it up for him. I gave him a pass-along card. Saturday, January 10th, 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. I drove today. It looks like I'll drive every other day. We tracked it first thing this morning. We did not teach anyone, but we met a man that is very interested and wants us to come back with when his family is home, so that we can teach the whole family. We visited old investigators until lunch. We had lunch at the pad. After lunch, we went to teach Sunny, but she just wanted us to set up another appointment. We tried to visit people in the Tongan ward for a while, and then taught a lady named Rose that we got a referral for. She is a little off the beaten path, and we are not disappointed that we have to give her to the other elders. She does not live in our area. We followed up on a few people and then went to dinner with the G family. Brother G is very cool, and he seems to be happy no matter what. Sister G is another story. They have just adopted 3 children, and I believe that they are very good parents. Brother G is in the Marines. After dinner, we visited the V family. Brother V is a dog handler in the Marines and is a rodeo freak. Sister V is from Texas, and both of them are very cool. We came home about an hour early so Elder S could prepare a training. I think that I'm really going to like this ward. As of yet, I like all the members that I have met in this ward. I guess that I'll see how the rest of the ward is tomorrow. About half the ward lives on base, and every time we go to the Marine base, we have to get someone to call the gate to sponsor us and then we have to show our ID and registration and insurance to get on a one-time pass, and it's kind of a pain, but that's okay. This morning's devotional was, I think, better than any I've had in my whole mission. It was pretty spiritual, and Elder S did a very good job training. Sunday, January 11th, 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. We had PEC in the Kailua 2nd Ward at 7:30. It was the weirdest PEC that I have ever been to yet. A couple of brethren were arguing for a minute, and I thought that they might brawl. In Sacrament, I felt very out of place because there were so many white people. I have not seen that many white people since I have left the MTC. I felt great to not have to teach Sunday school today. Brother O did a great job at it. I talked to one brother in the Navy who is from Texas. He is really cool. He told me that I am too old to get in the academy to be an officer, but the ROTC will still take me. He suggested that if I want to be an officer, that I might want to go to Texas A&M University. They are supposed to produce more quality officers than any other school. The cost of living is very cheap in Texas, so I might want to check it out when I get home. I was very humbled in the Tongan branch because I knew so little Tongan, so far I only know how to ask people what their name is and how they are doing. Tell them my name and greet them and say yes and thanks, forgive me and be patient, and just fine. I really did not know what was going on in church. Instead of Sunday school, we taught Micah the 6th discussion and set up a time for the interview. After church, we had week plan, and I went to see our family for dinner. Everyone laughs at me because of things that I would say. Their son's friend looks a lot like the main girl in the Testament. I talked to her a little more than I should have, and when I left, she told me that she thinks I am funny, which is kind of scares me. We had zone meeting with the whole zone at Stake Center at 1900. While we waited for everyone else, I talked to Elder G. The meeting was good, and we set a zone goal of 13 baptisms. I wrote my president's letter today. Monday, January 12th, 2003. No, it's supposed to be 2004. Yeah, I wrote 2003, but it's 2004. It rained early this morning before light, but it was clear the rest of the day. Light wind, hot. All 4 elders in the pad carpooled to the laundromat at 5 to do our laundry. While we dried our laundry, I wrote my ward and a bunch of other people. I did a lot of cleaning today, but it barely made a dent in the apartment, especially since I was the only one who cleaned anything. After devotion, Elder S and the other Elder S left, and Elder D and Elder L came. Elder S cooked breakfast. Later in the day, we all went in Elder D's car to shop and came back to the apartment for a while, and then we went to the mall in our car. Elder S drove. Being in the mall made me so incredibly chunky. It reminded me of when I used to go to the Pine Ridge Mall in Pocatello, actually Chubbuck. One store we went to was playing Garth Brooks, and that helped me to be chunky. After the mall, we all changed and went bowling. The first game, Elder S won, and I came in second. The second game, Elder D won, big time, and Elder S and I tied for third. Elder L took second. We had dinner with the C family, and I shared the dinner message on the Bishop and the Hay, and I committed them to 6-step. We went to Brother C's house and taught Chad the first discussion. It was one of the best first discussions that I've had in a long time. The spirit was strong, and Chad either committed herself or accepted our commitment for everything. We came home at 20:30, so Elder S could prepare training for district meeting, and I studied Tonkin. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to comment down below, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.